Holy cow! Because that's what we do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what we do. Hey guys, welcome to Babetalk. Good evening, good morning, good night. How's everyone doing? You all doing well? That's great. We're doing well over here. I got Sayak of Dreamer Sons. So say something to them.
How you guys doing?
All right. That was when I used to have a panel of like 6 people. Everyone used to get hyped and a studio audience, but now we have neither. Well, we have a studio audience, but
How you guys doing? That would be awesome. That would be. Oh
it would
man,
be, wouldn't it? It would be so nice to have them
yeah.
talk back to
Live
us.
studio. I'll bring in a few of my neighbors, and they could just sit in the back, and we can get something going. All right.
That would be fantastic and perfect. Crowds of people and host it. And I realized if there's a band behind me and I'm talking to them for an hour, they probably want to hear the live music and not someone talking to them for an hour. So I realized how much of a bad idea that would be. So besides you guys, like you guys just went on tour and people loved you, right?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was my personal first tour ever, and you know, it was just really cool to be able to play for a room of like 10 to 15 people that didn't know who we were, that didn't care who we were, and it was a cool challenge each night to try to capture people and hold their attention for 30 minutes. Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. That's what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Well, there we go. We can life decisions on the road. I'm pretty sure that happens all the time.
Yeah.
I'm just glad you're a musician and not. Anyway, we start off the show each week. That's how I get myself in trouble. That's why I shouldn't be in charge of anything. But we start off the show each week by asking our guests how their past few days were, past few weeks, months. You tell me how your past whenever was. So, Zach, how was your past whenever?
My past. My
Like
past what?
past week, past month,
Oh,
past year.
okay. This past month has been like magic. It's just been, we went on tour. I would say even 2 months. We got our CDs, we got our T-shirts, we went on tour, and it was just like really cool to see all these things, in the flesh, really happening. Like starting to take those steps that I saw my idols take when I was like paying attention to their up and coming. This past week has just been kind of like work. I've been writing a lot for the new record. I'm really trying to expose myself to a lot of different types of music. I'm going to a lot of open mics. I just got back from playing one, and I'll get into that a little bit more because I'm a little fresh to being a vocalist, and so I'm trying to work on that as much as possible.
Really? Wait, really? So this is like your first time being a vocalist, like ever?
Oh yeah, I only started singing about a year ago, and I go to Berklee College of Music, and it's just an incredible opportunity to be here. But I play drums there. That's kind of how I got into the school, and yeah, I'm just kind of fresh into the scene. I'm still a little, I don't know if insecure is the word, but just unsure of how my voice plays right now. I'm still figuring that out, but I'm like really excited to see where it goes.
It's very funny that you say it's your first adventure into singing. Because listening to the EP, written off. Oh shit! I'm gonna blank off on it. I have it on my phone right here, and I'm gonna sound as if I'm a real journalist and that I actually know information. The EP you guys just put out was written off. Moving on, and listening to it, like you sound fucking seasoned.
Dude, thank you,
To
man.
only be singing for a year is pretty nuts.
Thank you so much, man. It's honestly a lot of it was. We just went to a studio. Our engineer is a wizard. He worked with Gates. He works with the Deer Hunter. And he just like really found out the natural stuff about my voice that sounds good and just, brought that up. And he really did us right. He really did us right.
That is beautiful. But I also want to know, outside of your musical endeavors and stuff like that, how was your past month on a personal level? Like, do you like to go skiing? Do you?
Oh, yeah. I'm like a
Go
total nerd. I'm a total nerd. I've been playing the new Uncharted game nonstop. And
Oh, it looks so good.
it's amazing. It's unbelievable. I love it. I've been playing the new Uncharted. I've been playing Smash. I'm into the kind of the melee scene. My best friend's in it. Really into it. I just
Oh,
love
so
going
not
out.
even like the new bros. You're more of like the old school with the with Melee.
Oh man, there's a whole community that's like resolved around just really tearing that game apart. But that's hours and hours of talking about stuff that we probably don't want to
That's
spend.
so true. That's so
Yeah,
incredibly true.
but yeah, just going out with friends, playing video games. I like to travel a lot, so I've been like trying to like get like just like weekend bus tickets to like New York or something and checking it out. But yeah, that's really what I've been up to. Is just
Nice.
kind of living.
Now, do you have any feelings about the new what was it? Some of the trailers that I recently seen was Watch Dogs 2?
Yes, I do have an opinion on that. I played the first one, and I was like
Mm-hmm.
I follow E3, I follow all those like gaming like conferences and stuff like that. And I saw like the trailer for the first one, and I was like, this is the coolest game in the world. This is going to be the best. And I got it, and it wasn't. It was a cool game, but it wasn't the best. It wasn't as good as I thought it'd be. So two,
It
I'm a
was so
little
crazy on how.
yeah, yeah. So you know what I'm talking about? How like the graphics,
Oh,
everything.
I played. Oh, I play. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yep.
Like how it was supposed to be. It was advertised as this like huge like one of like game changing game. You know what I mean? Ha. Um,
Yeah.
and so I'm skeptical on two. I'll definitely get it and play it, but the trailer looked cool. I like the concept. I like that it's in San Francisco, right?
Yeah, it's in San Francisco this
Yeah.
year. Instead of having one main character, I believe they're going to be switching between a few.
That's cool. I
Um,
like that.
and
Yeah.
I think that like my first issue with the because now we're transitioning to be a video game podcast, guys. Sorry, we'll get into music in a few minutes, but we're gonna talk some video games because fellow nerd to nerd, we gotta talk about it. Um, the first game I think was kind of like its trial and error version because they hyped up the shit out of that game, and when it came to the actual execution, there were a lot of bugs, there were a lot of mechanical issues. Um, Physics in that game was just unreal. Like it was hysterical just to like be on your bike and like accidentally tap someone and just goes flying.
Boom.
But this is also it just went soaring. Like I was playing it for like first time in months last night, and I was just like, I still love this game. But it had a lot of issues. But I think with the second installment that they're gonna have, they're gonna tweak down a lot of things. They're gonna tighten it down. Because the same with Grand Theft Auto over the years, they had a solid base on what to do, but then eventually,
Yeah.
as they progressed with their series, they moved on. Now with
Yeah.
five, it's pretty much immaculate, and they're going to be making six. So
Yeah.
like,
No, I feel that when you have like a new IP, you kind of got to start small. And I think
mhm.
Watch Dogs, I think conceptually it's incredible. Like the hacking, the way that they like pulled in. My favorite thing about that game was just causing pileups and doing shootouts in the middle of the pileups because I thought that was such a cool thing that you could
True.
do. Yeah, and like it
Mhm.
was just I love the concept. I think the execution could be a little bit better, but like I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the second one looks like.
It's going to be fun. And
Yeah.
also another one that I'm very hyped on is going to be Mirror's Edge Resurgence.
Mm. It's Catalyst, right?
Oh,
No. Is there
Catalyst.
another one?
Yeah, no, it's Catalyst. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm talking out of my. The only thing I know is that I want that game and I want it yesterday.
Yep. Yep. The first one, honestly, is like I'll still play it sometimes, but I thought it was really
Yes,
cool.
like
Do you know the band Churches?
they sound familiar. I think my managing editor James Boss, name drop, is going to be yelling at me for not completely knowing them, but they sound familiar.
They're one of those people. My friend just texted me, "Why are you talking about video games? Stop." um, I do what I
Sorry, guys. We'll
want.
get back on.
I'll talk whatever I want to talk
Damn it.
about. No, I love you, Becca. But it hold on, I got totally because I'm about to tie it back to music. The band Churches, they're one of those bands that spells their name with a V, like Paris.
Okay.
Um,
Mhm.
and they licensed and did the theme song for Mirror's Edge Catalyst. So that's actually something that Dreamers
Oh
trying to get.
wow.
We want to put some of our songs into movies, short films, video games. Honestly, I think we'd be
Mhm.
pretty good in front of an anime. But yeah,
No, I back that 100%. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, now we're back. Now we're back to the music.
Now we're back. Now we're back to music. Now we're so good.
Full circle.
Well, we still have some time before we start our interview, so I guess we can kind of keep it within the realm of video games and music. Because recently I was talking with some friends about our favorite video game soundtracks, And as a kid, I used to play, what is it, Jet Set Radio Future,
Oh yeah,
one of the first launches that came out for the Xbox. It had such a unique um, playlist of techno, of a little bit of ambient rock, like something that like you would find on like a Moby playlist. Um, it's a little bit of rap too. Like that was like one of my
yeah.
favorite ones. But do you have like a soundtrack that kind of sticks out in your mind when it comes to video games?
Absolutely. I've got a million. I think the soundtrack for the first for Super Mario 64 is absurd. It's one of the best like musical pieces of art that I've ever listened to. I think his name was Koji Kondo was the composer. He is a savant. I've never heard anybody like come up with stuff like that. I played Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Um,
Oh man, I was gonna bring up the original Sonic Adventure
yeah.
2 when you go to the chemical plant.
There's that one. That's Sonic 2. That was like the side-scrolling one, but the one I'm talking about is the
Yes, yeah, that
3D
was the
one.
original Side Squirrel. Yeah.
Yeah, this was
Yes,
the one
the
that.
one that came out
Yeah.
for around the not Dreamcast. That was
Yes, yes,
later.
yes.
I mean earlier. We're talking.
You're right.
Is it
Yeah, it was
Dreamcast?
Dreamcast. It was originally Dreamcast. I played it on the
Okay.
GameCube, but it got re-released on the
I was gonna
GameCube.
say, and then they got
Yeah.
a yep.
Yeah. Yeah, but live and learn. That was like my jam. It's actually funny that the friend that I mentioned earlier that plays Melee just texted me. Keep going. Keep talking about video games. So here we are. Here we go. Um,
Perfect.
yeah, but yeah.
There's another one that if you enjoy on the I, I always find the Sonic soundtracks to be a little cheesy, but I think like they're meant to be in a
Oh
little bit
yeah.
of way. Like when it comes to the scores, like they're perfect and fine. When it comes to like some of the songs that like have the lyrics in it, there was a old Sonic racing game called Sonic R for the PC. And I don't know if a lot of people know about it. Do you remember it at all?
No.
Look
Oh,
it up. It's called Sonic R. Look at some of the YouTube plays. Like you just are you're the characters. You're like Sonic and Knuckles and Tails, Robotnik, Amy and her little car. It's nuts. But you just run around and you race. No carts,
right
no
on.
nothing. You just run around. And the soundtrack is incredibly, I don't want to say it's stupid, but like I still remember the lyrics from playing it so much as a kid, and it's so like inspirational. Like there's a city level, and it's like living in a city, you got to survive, and I'm like, oh, all right. Like as like a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, I'm like, this is perfect. Now I'm
Yeah.
thinking about the lyrics again. I'm just like, that's actually pretty genius.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the charm. Part of the charm is that they're not meant for you, but you could still, like really latch onto it. And,
Ingest it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's why I loved the Sonic. Just overall, Sonic Heroes. That was that weird game where there had like three of them, and you were running.
Yep. Yep.
Man, all my friends are hitting me up. Watch. I didn't realize people were gonna watch this. Hey, John, how you doing, man?
Yeah. Give your shout outs, man. Go right
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. My friend, my John, Greg, Kate, Becca, Case, Armand. They're all watching. They're the homies. It's
There you
really
go.
great.
That's sick. Also, are there any like local bands that are from around the Boston area that you would also like to give some shout outs to?
Absolutely. We actually went on tour with Tighticus Finch. They go to school with us. They're a fantastic pop punk band, female fronted. Just they're very, very good, very good. I got the chance to drum with them last week, and it was a lot of fun. Um,
Nice.
I am good friends with the guys in a band called Self Portraits, another female fronted band. Another just the talent is insane. And there's so many bands I want to give a shout out to. Missing the Action, they're a great pop punk local band. They played with us on our homecoming show for the tour. Man, there's so many. There's so many. I can't think of any more right now, but there's so many. Wepro, there's too much.
It's all over the place, but cool. I mean, like we can go into it later maybe as the show ends or whenever you feel like it. Again,
Yeah,
like we
absolutely.
established, this is your show, so you just. I mean, I'm going to go into the interview part of the show, but if you want to talk about video games anymore, just you direct me here. You know what? I'm no longer the host. Now
Okay.
now you're
What's
the
up,
host.
guys? Welcome to
You're the
Babetalk.
captain. That was too easy. Are you really trying to take over my show?
No, no,
Wow,
no, no, no.
man.
I would never do
Wow,
that.
what kind of guest are you? What kind of guest are you? Anyway, so.
I'm that kind. I just take over. I just come in.
Anyway, first question for the show. How dare you?
Who do you think you
Who do you
are?
think you are? Perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're gonna get into the interview portion of the show. Typically, we reserve this for sponsors, and we say, "Hey, this week's episode of Babe Talk is sponsored by X, Y, and Z." But guess what? We don't got a sponsor anymore,
Because
and
we
we're broke.
independent.
Cause we independent. No, no, no. I'm looking for sponsors. Please, please sponsor me. We can only be so independent without me running out of money all the time. I mean, like, if you guys love what we do here, hit me up, Ali at babetalk.tv. If we don't find a sponsor, we'll still be going strong, and we'll still be strong, independent black journalists that don't need no sponsors. But we would sure like some money to help us get by. Anyway, that's all I'm going to plug of that. But now it's time to talk about Dreamer and Son. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. At any point in time, you can tell me to fuck off, and I'll ask you a new question. But if you're ready to go, I'm ready to go.
Cool.
All right, sick. So I typically like to start off with your position in the band.
Yeah, I sing and play guitar.
Okay. And a brief description as to Dreamer and Son.
Dreamer and Son. Let's see. We are a four-piece ambient alt rock band from Boston, Massachusetts. A lot of things that we play and write about have to do with our personal lives. Dealing and beating depression, anxiety. That's our basis. We how do I do? Written Off Moving On, our EP. It's kind of an old EP. Those songs have been around for a while. And we just kind of really put them together in the best possible light and released it out to the world. And really what we want to do is just kind of, be the change that we hope to see.
Nice.
In the music industry, in, just interactions with people. We try to carry ourselves as very approachable people. We just want to be friends with everybody that likes our music. That's just kind of how that's just how I think the music industry should be, is everybody's pals. But yeah, that's hi, we're Dreamer and Son.
I mean, it's always good to house a good sense of camaraderie or like a community, because like when it's all stripped down, that's all we have for each other.
Mm-hmm,
Like we all have
absolutely.
different people that like each other's music. We all bring each other up. We try not to bring each other down unless we're break down.
Dun, 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 dun,
I, I hate myself, and I'm not gonna talk anymore. Um, so let's start to get into your brief, not brief anything. Your start into music. What was like one of the first things that had you even think about starting writing music or being into a musical endeavor?
um, it started, man. You just opened up a whole can of worms. I
Perfect.
started playing piano. I started taking classical piano lessons when I was 3 years old, and I did it up until the point that I was 16. And then I moved away from where I'd grown up and just kind of went from there. I was part of orchestra growing up. I was in the band. I played French horn. I played violin. Um, and I was just really involved in what I call scholarly music. You know what I mean? I was in the marching band. I was in the drum line. I was in jazz band. It was a lot of fun, and it really exposed me to a lot of different types of music. But I started realizing that I want to be an artist and be really eventually a legend in the music community. When I was in middle school, actually, one of the kids listening right now, he was there with me through that. Armand. He I started my first band when I was in 7th grade, and we started writing music, and it was just, middle school for like a lot of me and my friends was, a tough time where like you just didn't really fit in, and people didn't really
Hmm.
understand the way you worked. I didn't understand the way that I worked. So, how can I expect someone else to? Um, and when I was playing these songs and writing and like starting to really get my foot in the door, it was just like the first time I'd really felt like there was something I was supposed to do instead of I was just going through the motions and doing whatever he was telling me to do. That's when I was just like, I want to, like, this is what I want to do. Like, and from then on, you know, I started I started a band called Blame It On Yesterday with my friends. Again, Armand was the bass player for that. I moved to Virginia and I started a band called the Royal Thieves, and then I fronted a band called Willowfoot, and then I went to college and found these guys by chance. And it's just it's kind of been like a snowball effect. It started small. It started in the basement, just like it should. And here we are. I just got done with my first tour, and yeah, it's really kind of surreal. It's really cool. But yeah,
That's
that's
insane.
yeah. Thank you, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like it's always fun to hear people like, give their stories on how they got into music, especially with like your initial interest. Because I know a lot of kids like they'll like hear a Blink song and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, like I want to write that." And there's no shame in it because like, a
Yeah,
lot of us like enjoy a lot of pop punk here and there. So it's like it doesn't matter how you got into it, but what matters is that you did get into it. And your
yeah.
story is cool just like everyone else's, especially with like your it's kind of unique with having scholarly music because you don't hear that a lot with different people.
It was. It's something that like I know is not me. I know I don't want to be in a band. I don't know. I know or not in a band. I don't want to be in like an ensemble. I know that's not exactly the way I want to take my music, but having it under my belt has been so productive to the way that I work. Because, honestly, it's weird how much marching band prepared me for tour. Because it's kind of the same thing. You get in a school bus, you pack it up, and you go, you play the show, you load in, you load out, and then you're on the road again. And like I wasn't expecting so much similarities. But it's really cool. It's really great to have under my belt.
Now, when you say that you wanted to become an artist and a legend within the music industry, what kind of like kicked it from going from a base four format, like, having your musical standards and stuff like that, to kind of like, being more expressive and creative with your music?
Um, I have never been good at what am I trying to say? I've never been good at like acting, I guess. Which is what it feels like when I'm playing music that's not mine, is that I'm acting and I have a role to fill. Um, and I've just never been super good at expressing myself through other people's words. So when I started writing, I found this kind of happy medium where I could like, kind of set some rules for myself, be like, hey, like I don't want to be too crazy, I don't want to be too experimental, but do it in a way that like I can still fully express myself. And that's kind of I guess that's kind of what's fueling my involvement in Dreamer and Son right now, is that this is the way that I can express myself to my highest ability right now.
Hmm. And it reflects it, I think, in a really proper way. Because like when you listen to the EP, like when I was first sent the promote for it, it said ambient rock. I was thinking more of like, oh, like 'cause I'm a punk kid, I'm a prop punk kid, like through and through. Suppy Nation, War
Yeah.
Overboard, Wonder Years, like all that good shit, and wasn't really on the ambient rock, like the kind of like Radiohead, the kind of I said Moby earlier. Moby's more of a DJ than anyone else, but there was Title of Men, and I think I listened to them, and they're more of like a harder Circa Survive, and I guess you can put like
Yeah.
Circa Survive in that category too. But when you listen to the new EP that you guys have put out with you can definitely feel as if like a lot of the different um construction of the songs are very flowy, very wavy, very passionate, very emotionally drawn,
Thank you. Thank you,
especially
man.
when you go through those changes, like it's something that you typically don't hear, or not am I thinking pitch changes, um key changes, not pitch changes, the different key changes within the songs, they evoke emotion, and that's not something that you typically hear in different bands, because it's more like cut and dry, like it's more cut and dry. But it's really interesting to see that you guys have express
Thank you, man.
that you're able to really express yourself on the EP.
That
Sure, no
means a lot,
problem.
man.
I'm gonna stop
Seriously.
stop talking a lot. Yeah,
No, no, no.
absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
But so, moving on. So now before we get into the rest of your involvement with Dreamer Son, I kind of wanted to figure out the level of success that you guys are seeing now. You're finally starting to get like your voice heard out there. You're getting on tour. You're recording your stuff. What do you think was different between the other bands that you're starting to see a solid stride now with Dreamer and Son?
Um, I mean, I hate to be general like this, but the other bands were high school bands, and the other members acted as such. You know what I mean? They acted like, let's get together after school and play some music for fun and play a few shows, and we can invite our friends out. And that was kind of it. And there is nothing wrong with that. If I didn't have that experience and like go for it like that, I would not be where I am at all. But I just always found myself wanting more. Like I always found myself, it started off, I had to disguise it as a hobby to my parents. I was like, I'm just doing this for fun. But like, I want to do this. I want to be able to eat and make a living off of this. That's kind of the goal. And the thing about Dreamer and Son that's different is that all of us want that. All of us want to be able to make a career, a living, pay the mortgage, pay the bills off of being a touring, performing artist. And we all have different ways that we want to do that as well. Matt, our guitarist, wants to open up a studio. He's an incredible producer. My bassist, Jake, he wants to start a marketing team and work with up-and-coming bands. I personally want to be a songwriter as well. Kind of like the guy from One Republic. He's an artist. He's a very successful artist, but he writes for Beyonce. He writes for Shakira. He writes for all these other insane artists. And that's like where I want to be. Josh, he's a photographer as well. It's really cool because like we're a very independent band because of that. But yeah, going back to the question, I just blanked.
No, I mean, like, that's incredible. Like, the fact that you guys, I mean, of course, like, from a high school band, it's for fun. And there eventually comes a point in which you're able to incorporate your fun with your work. And so far, you guys seem to be proving that, especially with each one of you having, like, these insane aspirations of these different startups. It's just like, oh, like, you can be a band and a brand and a subsidiary all in the same breath. Like, that's fucking awesome.
I think I'm going to use Attila as an example just because, Franz, I mean, he did it right. Like, as much as I don't really agree with what they talk about, I'm not behind that. That's a whole different discussion. But I respect the fact that he's able to start businesses and keep this cash flow going. He's a millionaire. Like, he's a millionaire from the Warped Tour scene, which you don't hear about. You don't hear about that much. And that's just kind of
for anyone to kind of like.
No, go for it.
Anyone that's kind of. Well, I was just gonna say like the point that you were bringing up about the whole respect thing. It's a huge thing of respect. Like, of course, like each one of us are kind of like Franz Piff, but like we say Franz Piff, but I mean like how many other. To put it like so sophomoric, what other niggas do you see from the hood make it that big, like he really made it well.
Yeah, no, I think Chris Franzak is insanely inspirational if you look at it through the right perspective. That's big. And I think there's a lot of artists that are like that too. Like, I can't really think of another example, but there's a lot of people that, talk about stuff that I don't agree with, that their brand represents stuff that I wouldn't want to represent myself. But they like the way that they hustle, the way that they grinded and put in the work. That's what I need to do right now. And that's what I'm looking at.
Because I think what a lot of people start to realize too is that the higher they start to move up the musical chain is that like their band becomes their brand. And if you don't market yourself correctly, you can easily get lost in the shuffle. But they're like, and it's not really like acting. Like you said, you can't stand acting, or you just don't have you have the inability to act and not be genuine. There are a lot of people that like to have that persona, and there's nothing wrong with it because some bands like to have a character. Mindless self-indulgence. I love them when they perform. They're just crazy and insane, and they have these crazy personas. And it works out really well for them. And it's not their everyday life. Like, they don't walk down the street like like they're having a seizure and they're just, like, brushing their teeth with their fingers. Like, that's an iconic move. They're just like, yee! Like, that's not their everyday life. But that's how they market themselves. And they brand themselves very neon punk style. And kids love it.
Yeah.
Like, Hot Topic bands. They're like, oh, they're a Hot Topic band. Well, yeah, they're also eating dinner nightly, too. Like,
yeah. They're doing what they love and they're eating off of it. What more can you want in life? Seriously. I think the important thing to realize is that you can't really copy brands. You can't like
Hmm.
you can't copy brands and expect the amount of success that I personally want. I think that Dreamer has this platform that we can like really start something that's us. I don't know, like, and that's something that like we work towards every day. That's something we talk about all the time. Is like, what can we do that people haven't done before? But that's the other reason. Going back to your question about why this band's different, that's the other reason why I think this band is different. Is because we're not afraid to be us and only us, and that's something that even successful bands I feel like could use a reality check on, is that they're trying too hard to be something that they're not, and that if you're genuine and honest with your art and your craft, people are going to pick up on that, and you're going to have food on the table.
So very true. So very true. Great answer, 10 out of 10. But that's very true. So let's actually go back into Dreamer and Son. We'll move a little bit away from you and more towards focus of the band. So you're going to the best school like for music in on the East Coast, and that's awesome. And so you just casually met these kids, and you said like, "Hey, I'm business savvy and I'm creative," and they said, "Hey, same," and
Oh man,
it just kind of like went on from
are you asking me about our backstory? Is that what's
there.
going on? You're breaking up a little bit. I don't know what happened.
Oh, whew, okay, still got you. All right, I
All
started
right.
to pay.
Oh,
And you have a file back.
everything's good. It's here. Let me.
Believe.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I'm not. I can hear you. I'm not sure if we're having technical difficulties. I hope not because we haven't had them in a while. But
Hello?
damn.
Oh no, I can hear you like every once in a while. All right. If you can hear
Uh,
what I'm saying,
I'm going.
I can't hear
Through.
you. It's just coming in and out. Hmm.
All right, if you can hear me, if you can try and go through your answer and just pretend as if I'm listening, because I swear it's coming in and out.
Okay.
But that
Well,
doesn't mean that you can't tell the people at home your answer, and I'll pick up where I can.
all right. So we came together as a band. I actually released a video on YouTube, and it was a one-man band cover of "Hey There, Delilah." I was singing, I was playing guitar, I was playing bass, I was playing drums. It was horrible. It was complete shit. It's terrible. And these guys, and I was just like, hey, it would be cool if I could play one show and get a backing band together. You know what I mean? I was like, let's, I want some live performing experience. And so I had seen each member of the band. And there was a fifth member too, but we'll get into that. I've seen each member of the band live. I've played with them. I was just like, hey, let's get together in a practice room. Let's hash out a song or two, see how you guys feel. We'll play a show before the end of the semester, and then we'll, be apart for summer, and then we can just hang out next year. And there's a video of this happening. We all got into a room. We played "Everyone Loves the Violins" together, and it just clicked. It was I still like don't believe it. Like it just clicked, and there was this energy in the room, and I don't know. It was almost like it was supposed to happen. It was supposed to happen. That's how I feel like. And then we played our first show, and it happened again. Like it clicked, and we were all like, okay, this is something special. What do we do?
Huh.
So Jake, my bassist, played for a band called Goodbye 617. They were a pop punk band. He ended up leaving them to take this on full time. Josh played for another pop punk band called The Oversight, who I played keys for. He ended up leaving them to pursue this. Matt was starting a project called Hollow Note. And I just ended up being in one of Matt's classes first semester, and we just ended up meeting because of that. And it was just a lot of chance, a lot of the right things happening at the right time, and the right people being put in the right place. It was very particular. If it didn't happen in the exact order that it did, I don't know if we'd be a band right now, but we are, and we're still trucking, and it's just crazy. That was a bit more than a year ago at this point, and yeah, that's kind of the history. That's how we came together.
That's so cool. Like it just casually like happened to find itself in a band. And like when you just find a groove and you just find a chemistry that just won't quit. It's like that's it. That's I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
There's no real else way to describe it, but just like perfection.
yeah. It was amazing. I think sometimes like, as I think there's a lot of bands that have had those kind of moments where like things just came together, and when things start getting hectic, I think it's good to go back and look at on those moments and just be like, hey, like, remember when we weren't sure about this? Remember when we just kind of did it? Um, and that's something that we're gonna go back and do this summer. We're just gonna kind of go back to our roots and
Hmm.
like be like, hey, like, okay, we've done all of these cool things. We've achieved all, we've checked all these childhood dreams off the list. How can we keep this honest? How can we keep this pure and still do what we want to do? So, we're gonna be watching that video a lot. We'll probably upload it someday.
That's sick. It's kind of like that first dollar bill that you like put up on your storefront.
Yeah, exactly.
That is really cool. So, what about the actual production? Because I know that this EP isn't your first. You have another one. I think it's a cover that you guys have put out way back when of Over My Head.
Yeah, we just did one song
And
cover. Yeah.
hmm were there any other demos that you guys were working out before the production of Written Off, Moving On?
Yeah, earlier I said that my guitarist Matt is a producer. He produced that Over My Head cover, and we like actually went to two or three cycles of tracking the EP front to back to prepare for uh,
Hmm.
for the studio because we only had 5 days to track and we had to like really be on top of our parts. Um, and the experience was cool. I think every artist could use some just like one-on-one recording time with the people you work with. It's very beneficial. It really helps solidify studio confidence. I have a lot of recording anxiety, so like I can sing something, but as soon as somebody hits record, I'll throw up, and I won't
Hmm.
throw up, but like
Well, I could.
yeah, it's just like it helped a lot with that. So yeah, the production process. Matt's a wizard. He uses Reason, which I don't know if you know anything about digital audio workstations, but Reason was presented to me as kind of a last ditch effort. But it turns out that it's just like huge, powerful DAW that's like really versatile, and Matt is just really able to get some good stuff out of it.
Nice. As a person that doesn't play music nor produce nor carry a note, I do know Logic's a thing, and
Yep.
I went to a performing arts high school, and Pro Tools is a thing. So I know I can name drop on products, but can't do much after that.
There you go.
But after you guys had came out with the EP back in April, I mean like you guys were like sneaker zoom zoom like right afterwards and went on tour.
Yeah, I mean, so the difficult thing about being in a band like this is that we're all classmates, right? So we're all here for 9 months out of the year. But then there's those 3 summer months in between where like it's hard to be together. Matt's from Louisiana, I'm from DC, Jake's from Chicago, Josh is from Muskegon, Michigan. And
Hmm.
so we kind of were just like, okay, we have a limited amount of time together. Let's just get for lack of a better way to describe it, let's get our shit together and do whatever the hell we can to like get the music out there and progress forward as a band. Because just like bands can be shelved because of poor marketing, bands can be shelved because of poor activity as well. And that's something that
So
we don't
true.
want to. We don't want to be in that situation.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that would be awful.
we just got to work.
So I'm trying to figure out whether I want to play the song first or whether I want to have you talk about the album first. Because when I listened to it, I was kind of floored. It's something as if like it's in our scene, it's in our genre. All the kids that would kind of like casually find themselves like listening to Gits because like Gits is like pretty large and like Title have been there. They're maybe because I live under a rock, a little bit more underground than I'm used to. But you guys are still around our age, like you all play within pop punk bands or have been associated with different like rock garage bands at one point in time, and this doesn't have an inkling, a smell, a scent of anything other than some like some really well produced like radio candy.
Thank you so much,
And
man.
like
First of
and
all,
like
yeah.
not even in like a way that you would like used to be like, oh yeah, that new Katy Perry's like, like just like bubblegum. It like it's just so smooth. It's like a good bourbon.
Yeah. I can't legally drink yet, so I don't know nothing about that. So
Nice,
bad.
nice save. Nice save.
Sorry, mom. But I don't drink. I don't. Like,
Wait, this is also just hitting me too. How old are you?
we're all 20. Yeah.
Wow, damn, y'all babies. So, I think I'm gonna we have a peek with our views now. So let me start to get this out. We agreed that we were gonna listen to Not One Dry Eye, correct?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm not gonna have you intro the song. I'm not gonna have you talk about the full EP just yet. But this song, no, not one dry eye, is off of Written Off, Moving On, and then afterwards we're gonna talk a little bit about the production of the EP and probably about your future or more
Cool.
video
Yeah.
games, depends on how the night goes. But yeah, we're gonna play it for you guys, and I hope you do enjoy it as much as I have. It's I'm gonna stop kissing ass. I'm gonna play the song. Hold on one second.
Shooby doo. Shooby doo.
So lift your spirits only slightly. I know your life is crashing right before your eyes. Taking one more breath won't be your last one. You better start to believe. They say the city never sleeps, and neither do I. My message like crowded streets, my hopes scrape the sky. We're strung along this story, now you live in all your glory. If these are your wonder years, live them till the dream dies. Cause the one thing you can't do is water down the fire in your eyes. And the worst thing that you could do is forget. And I'll never understand why we pretend. You and I live different lives. They say the most awful things, and I've read them all. You wouldn't believe the cruel names they've called. You were strung along this story, now you live in all your glory. If these are your wonder years, do your best to survive. Cause the one thing you can't do is water down the fire in your eyes. And the worst thing that you could do is forget. And I'll never understand why we pretend. You and I live different lives. And all this poetry doesn't do it justice. I wish I could instill this emptiness, but I must confess that I can't confess to being hurt. Cause if you don't let it hurt, you'll never this. I remember all the apparitions I fell in love with all those years ago. When the worst thing in life was a bad grade, and the worst thing in life was waking up, because this weight just crushes the dreams you have in your sleep, and you forget them in an instant. Be alone anymore.
So yeah, that was.
Thank you.
Not one dry eye. Oh yeah, absolutely. That was not one dry eye off of Written Off. Moving on. Dreamer and Son. Find it at dreamerandson.bandcamp.com. Let's talk the fuck about this EP because it's so different from what I'm usually used to, which is kind of like a regular kind of like really hardcore like your guitar riffs and like when we talk about pop punk, like we know what realm that's a part of. And when it comes to like these like indie artists, when it comes to these indie bands, I don't think we have anything that's like like really that's really proficient in keeping like a full narrative about like emotions, about like being able to be versatile with the song structure and stuff along the lines like that. But like, what was going through your head when you guys were like putting this all together, especially with this like your first EP, your first move into like singing? Like all of this still seems pretty nuts when it's like when you guys are jumping into a new chapter.
Well, the writing of this EP will probably never happen this way again. A lot of the songs were actually how do I put this? I don't want to take too much credit, but I did write the skeleton, like the chords and the lyrics for pretty much every song on the EP. And I wrote Hello Vancouver when I was in 7th grade. There's like lyrically, there's we put out a video like kind of promoting the EP on our YouTube that actually explains the events of that whole story in a really emo and emotional, which is the same thing. I don't know why I just said that twice. Way. But yeah, from a writing perspective, it started with, me and the chords and the lyrics. And then I brought it to Matt and Jake and Josh. And Josh writes the most incredible drum parts. He actually just put out a cover of Hello Vancouver. Josh has a pretty strong YouTube.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, he's incredible. He's nuts. And
who is he sponsored by? If you want to drop that if you want.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Josh is sponsored. We want to give a shout out to SJC Drums and TRX Cymbals, and also Josh's parents, because Josh's parents are everything. They have helped us in so many ways. All of our parents, they've just been. I want to give a shout out to every single one. Mr. and Mrs. Sierzega, Mr. and Mrs. Bolton, my parents, my sister, Josh's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Parra. They're all great. But anyways, what was I saying? What were we talking about? The writing.
Yes.
So yeah, that's probably never going to happen again, because as of right now, it's a collaborative effort, and I think it's going to be better. I think I think the full length or whatever we have coming up next, because we're all going to be there for every bit of it. It's going to be really precise, really well thought out, and it's really going to get the kind of evolved version of our message out. Because really the idea, and this goes back to what you were saying earlier about how it sounds like something that could be in the scene, you know, in the Warped Tour scene, but it also sounds like something that people could listen to on the radio. That's the whole point. The entire point is to unite those people together, or those audiences together, because when I was growing up and I was listening to the music that I enjoyed in the Warped Tour scene, I felt very alienated by people who didn't. And I don't want, I don't see any point of that, especially because a lot of music that mainstream people like really isn't that far off from like heavy music. You know, you can compare dubstep to metal all day. You know, that's just to name a few.
Oh man, that's so incredibly true.
Yeah. And I think that applies to ambient music as well. I know a lot of ambient electronic artists that I would love to feature on Dreamer's work because it would work so well together. And that ties into our whole thing about, you know, making this like tight knit community of people from everywhere, from all over the places, all ages, that can just kind of be part of, you know, the Dreamer family. And that's, you know, that's the future. But in terms of the writing, I think the newer stuff and the blending of genres and sounds is really going to be where we're heading. I think Issues, I don't know if you've heard their new album. Oh, it's amazing.
I've heard a bit of it. I've heard it in passing. I haven't like sat down and given it a full listen.
I'm biased because they're one of my favorite bands, but like I just think musically, as composers, they're geniuses. I haven't heard anything like that come out of the Warped Tour scene. But yeah, is that?
So what are we looking at for the next few months, the next future? I mean, you guys have half a year to, you know, you have this EP, you went on tour. What's next?
There's a lot of speculation going on right now. I don't want to say anything set in stone because it's not, but we are planning to go back to Voodoo Studios and record a single called Cheat. We actually took this single for a run while we were out on tour. In terms of sound, it's more like the 1975 meets what we already are.
Sick.
Yeah, it's more of the radio friendly song that's going to be on the full length. We've already started working on writing the full length. We have like 3 or 4 songs pretty much set in stone, and I'm working every day on new stuff, and I'm just like sending it back and forth between the guys. But yeah, we're going to record Cheat as a single. We may or may not record a music video with it if the finances, you know, come through. And then, you know, again, there's talk about a winter release date, and then there's talk about a winter tour to promote and support the single. And from there on out, honestly, it's really up in the air. I think we're going to get to a point very soon where labels are going to start to take interest, and the production of the full length really depends on who's willing to invest, who's willing to take this project on. And that'll take it as seriously as we want them to. So there's so much that's up in the air, so much, you know, uncharted territory, Uncharted 4, so much uncharted territory that we can, you know, I'm just excited. You know, this is all new to me. I'm really excited. Hopefully we play our cards right and some good things happen.
Of course, and it's so cool. Like even like listening to you speak, like I can tell that from your intentions of like forming the band, you're putting in the work to make shit happen, having the experience under your belt from other bands. Not even like shit talking them, just saying like, yo, this is like what we need to do. It's not even, I wouldn't even say it's paying your dues. It's more of just like, you know, like going through the motions. You figure out what works for you, you figure out what doesn't. You find like-minded individuals that like, you know, want to bring each one of yourselves to a new level of not even creativity, but also like, you know, like work ethic.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all a constant push. It's not even like an ebb and a flow, but more just like a constant build up and up. And so far, like, there are many times in which like I just get salty because I just hear shit. I'm just like, wow, like this is like really. So I'm just like, oh, it's our first go ahead. It's like, oh yeah, like. I had to try on my shoes twice before I got them on correctly. Like,
I feel that.
The shit just comes out in one bang, awesome. But you guys also like have the experience. You're going to school for your craft. You're always willing to take new information, Even with like you said going to your producer, like he's working magic on the band and also your voice. It's a collaborative effort, which I really do enjoy. It's you guys are humble about it. You guys are um, sounding really tight. You're doing everything correctly. I mean,
Thank you, thank you.
there's no reason to not hear big headlines from you guys like a year from now, which is fantastic.
Thank you so much, man. Seriously, that's baby steps. Hopefully we get somewhere. I think if we put the work in, I think if anybody puts the work in, they'll get where they want to go.
Exactly. What does DJ Khaled say?
What's up?
So I said, what does DJ Khaled say? You don't want to see us work. They don't want to see us.
They don't want to feed us. Yeah.
They don't want to. They don't want to see us on Warped Tour. They don't want to see us opening for prawns.
That would be so sick. I mean, if you really want to know about like the be all end all future of the group, I can talk about that for a second because that's something I think about.
That we'll leave on that. You can give us your what is like the end game that you would love to see for Dreamer and Son.
So the end game, it ties in with my personal end game too. As a writer, I want to have a sound, like have almost even a genre of music that's like we pioneered. And I really want to change the music industry. I want to make a mark. Legacy is very important to me personally. I want, after I pass or whatever, people to still, benefit from the work that I put in now. And I want artists, I'm really excited to see A, what I come up with, and B, what people after me come up with off of what I came up with. I think the music industry right now is on the verge of a huge change with streaming services. They're starting to be regulated a little bit more. I think, sooner or later, buying a CD is going to be the same as buying a vinyl, whereas it's a collector's item and not the only medium. It's already not the medium to listen to music by now. More people are, digitally distributing their music over physically. But I want to be, at the top. And I'm not saying that the Warped Tour scene is not the top. I'm just saying that I see a lot of bands plateau there, that their careers end at a 2 o'clock, slot on Warped Tour. But I want to, I don't know. I just want to stick around. I want to kind of be immortal. And I want the band to be like this. When I say this is the band. I want the name to be there. I want the impact to be there. So many of the artists that I look up to in terms of legacy and careers don't come from the Warped Tour scene, because so many artists in the Warped Tour scene never make it to that point. They have the skills and the abilities to do so. They're so talented. Oh my goodness. But just for one reason or the other, that scene, it's almost as if that scene is dying. And that's a whole different discussion too. But and it's really sad to see, because so much positivity and so much goodness comes out of that. So many people's lives are shaped through just going to a summer festival with people that they fit in with, because that's the only one that you can go to. You know what I mean? That's the only one you could go to and just be like, honestly, be as weird as you want. That's the beauty of it, is being weird. And I think people get too caught up in being comfortable, that they're not, that they don't shoot for the real, for the highness of the highness, the height that the music industry can go to. I'm, going to school at Berkeley. I'm around a lot of people that are just really going to make it. Like Charlie Puth went to school here last year, and he's on the charts right now. I'm from Columbus, Ohio as well. And 21 Pilots, they're from my hometown. They went to my rival high school. I've watched it. I've observed for a while, and I want to be part of it. I want to be there too. But
God damn, that's it.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I
Absolutely.
I hope that that doesn't come across as pretentious, but it's kind of what keeps me going. That it's the drive. You never know unless you try.
Exactly, and I'll tell you why it's not pretentious. Because you'll have bands that will say we're better than everybody here, and we want to be known, and we want to be known as a band that was the best, that everyone was able to shape this. But what you're saying is that you want to create a new creative outlet for everyone to take advantage of, and for everyone
Yeah.
to not only like take your information, digest it, but also not regurgitate, but also like take it and like make it their own, so that they'll also be able to work on top of it. Because like that's pretty much what the music community is. We
Yeah.
listen to each other's stuff. We bang off of it. I mean, like the whole reason why we bounce off each other is to form bands.
Yeah.
Some are solo, but like we pull from each one of the things, and it's a beautiful thing.
That's the best part. That's the thing that the Warped Tour scene will always have over like any other scene, is that the friendships between bands are just unbelievable. Like I love seeing when Luke Holland drummed for Beartooth one time, and I was like, and like just all these different people that like, don't get me wrong, there is a lot of negativity in the Warped Tour scene now. I think there's a lot of people that latch on to smaller things, and there's a lot of like shitty things happening. I'm sure you've heard of the whole front porch step scandal, and it's sad. It's sad. It's sad that that's how it is. But like, I don't think it's the end. I don't think it's the end of it at all.
And I think you do bring up a good point with like a lot of us should be reinforcing that despite the music community being this crazy monster, and at any point in time there could be a new scandal that'll come out and just like bring out like, oh yeah, the music industry is not safe and it sucks. I mean, like, sadly that is the case, that it's a little volatile at the moment. However, that should not like have us forget that at one point in time, like it was such a family, and like it's such a bright community of friends and people just wanting to just make the damn music and do the damn thing.
Yeah, it's still there. I still see it. I go with my friend Armand like almost every year, and I've been talking about him a lot. Jeez. And I go with him, and I see people that dress like me, that act like me, that like what I like, and it's just so great. It's such a great community vibe. It's the only reason I feel like the only things that I have against the Warped Tour scene are things that I've noticed as an artist rather than as a patron. Like I go to Warped Tour, I still feel all the things that I feel. I still see my idols up on stage doing what they do. I think some of the best stage presence is in the Warped scene, like the best performances. As like
yes,
yeah,
because you're having so many eyes on you. Like Warped Tour in itself is because kids can't go out they don't have festivals, and they go to some days in which they don't have a normal touring route go out there.
Yeah,
so and it's like, what do I have? Warped Tour.
Yeah,
put on your best suit and tie, and then dance for your supper.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's really amazing, and I hope that even though my goals are set beyond that, I hope that some of the stuff that we as a band or me as an artist, in my own right, do kind of help keep that community together, because it has faltered in the past few years. I don't think it's dead, and I don't think it really ever will be, because I think there's always going to be a need for people to just be weird. I think there needs to be a place where people can just be weird, because there's a beauty in that, like I said. And who knows? I know I have an idea about starting a music festival, but that's a whole different thing. But like, who knows? Who knows?
I mean, shit. Like I said, with any work will come profit.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, Dreamer Sons. God bless. This is a great interview. It was
Dreamer and
over our time, man. It's done. It's cool. So, where can people find you on social media? Give them links, man.
Yeah, it's Instagram at Dreamer and Son. Spell it out. Twitter at Dreamer and Son. Facebook.com/Dreamer and Son. Bandcamp, dreamerandson.bandcamp.com. dreamerandson.tumblr.com. It is what you think it is. We're going to be having a website coming out soon. We're going to have an online merch store, Big Cartel, coming out soon. Personally, if you like the way I talk and my face, my personal Instagram is at SAYAKDAS. Same with my Twitter, except there's an underscore on either side. So underscore SAYAKDAS underscore. I'm going to find the guy that has the actual Sayak Das, and I'm going to take care of him.
Same with Babetalk. There's a Babetalk account that only tweets to one person. Every day they speak. They speak so many times a day. No other. And it says there's 0 tweets. If you look on Babetalk on Twitter, I can't say to harass them. I'm not even gonna. No. Do not.
I'm gonna get him.
No,
I'm gonna get him.
I forget. I keep forgetting that I have to. I can't say that. Guys, just forget we have a Twitter at this point.
But I can. Let's get these fools.
Anyway, but go follow Dreamer and Son. It's amazing. The album right now is out on Name Your Own Price. Please support them because bands need money. But also, it's such a great EP.
Thank you so much, man.
From first listen to many listens, you guys will enjoy the absolute shit out of that. And I'm so happy to be talking to such an awesome person like Sayak. You can give us some awesome insight into the band, also his own music, and also his own feelings, aspirations, ideas. This is a good-ass interview.
Thank you so much, man.
This is a good-ass interview, man.
Hey. Well, hey.
We out.
If you ever, I would love to come back on the show if you ever have a slot. I'll bring Jake
Absolutely.
with me. That's all. It's always a lot of fun when me and Jake do it together because we just kind of bounce off each other, and I also make fun of him a lot, and that's the best part.
Well, that would be fun. If you guys have any special news, and also if you guys have news, let Babetalk know. Babetalk will shout it out to the masses.
Yeah, absolutely.
New information, we'll bring you guys back on. At the current moment, this is where we're going to end tonight's show. It was nice. It was fun.
It's a pleasure, man. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I struggle with ending the show, but we'll be back next week with different bands. I know who's coming on the show. I totally know who's coming on the show, but I'm not telling you guys until next week. We also have acoustic video coming up from Luke from Clearview. Shout out to the 609. What's up, Stuffy? And we also have an interview with Brock that's going to be coming out either tomorrow or next week. So keep your eyes peeled on that. It's going to be in a new format. Probably a new format that's going to be permanent.
Cool.
So that'll be cool. So keep a new lookout for new features. Keep a lookout for Dreamer and Son. Go follow them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere else. Go download their music. See us next week. We're leaving. Good night, everybody.